street. I won't let no one come and take.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time seeing me, hi, my name is Julia and I post a bunch of business and lifestyle content, and I'm just bringing you guys along my business journey. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. So today's video is a highly requested one. I get asked in the DMs, my personal Instagram, YouTube comments, my TikTok, my email, like just this is the most asked question, and that is, how do I find a vendor for my jewelry business? And let me just say, you guys clicked on the right video today because I'm going to be answering just that. We're just going to jump on into it and we're not going to waste any time. So the first thing, before you even think about a vendor, you want to have an idea of what you actually want. So I would recommend getting a notebook and writing out what your mood board is, what you want the pieces to look like. You know, maybe you want a bunch of basics, or maybe you want statement pieces. You know, think about the materials you want. Maybe you want resin jewelry, maybe you want, you know, gold, silver. And I will say, when it comes to jewelry material, make sure you're staying away from alloy, nickel, brass, and copper. Those are typically metals that over time will rust and tarnish on your fingers, your neck, your ears, wherever you're wearing it. So materials that are reliable and affordable for you to buy and affordable for your customers to buy are stainless steel and sterling silver. So if you want silver pieces, you might just want the stainless steel and sterling silver without anything on it, so that way it's just silver. And if you do want gold pieces, you can get the same base metal, so that way they're not going to tarnish and you can wear them in the water, and then you're just going to get them gold plated. So you can get them 18 karat gold plated, 24 karat gold plated, etc. And as you're thinking about the pieces you want to also factor in a budget, because if you don't have a budget, it's not really going to help you in the long run. So if you are just starting out, you might have a smaller budget of, let's say, like $100 to $300. So you want to factor in the actual product cost and how many like pieces you're actually going to buy for your first collection or your launch. And you want to factor in shipping costs, because depending on where you are, shipping can be very, very expensive. And you also want to leave a bit of cushion room for duty fee and like taxes. I live in Canada, so I've had to pay duty fees and taxes on basically every shipment I've received. I paid a $92 duty fee today. So just make sure you're leaving a bit of room for that, so that you don't get, you know, surprised in the end. So yeah, definitely that's like my tip number one, is just plan out what you're actually looking for. Now 2 is where you can actually find these vendors. So there's 2 platforms I would recommend. The first platform is actually Google. Google's really easy to use. So if you are looking for a specific jewelry vendor, you can type in, you know, stainless steel jewelry vendor, and vendors will literally pop up on the Google page. The only thing I will say is that I would recommend using Google for those who actually have a business license or a business number, only because a lot of these vendors or wholesalers from Google, they want you to have a business number. They want to verify that you actually have a business. So if you are just starting out, typically you don't have that information, so I wouldn't really recommend that if you're starting out. But if you have a business number and you are looking for, you know, different wholesalers, different vendors, definitely check out Google. Now the next platform is ding ding ding, Alibaba. So Alibaba is literally my favorite platform, just because it's really easy to use, and it's very, very simple. So with Alibaba, all you would do is you would go in the search bar and you type in what you want. So if you're looking for studs, or let's just use studs as an example, you want to be very specific. So in the search bar you would type in like stainless steel studs, or like stainless steel circular studs, whatever you had in your vision, you want to search for it, and it'll just give you a bunch of lists of various vendors. Alibaba themselves are not selling these products, they host various vendors, so they could be the same vendors you find on Google, but Alibaba just makes it easier for you to find them in one platform. Now we're gonna get into like what to really look for when it comes to vendors, because yeah, there's a bunch of vendors, but not all of these vendors are the best. So on Alibaba, what you want to look for is you want to make sure that these suppliers are verified. So you can actually like filter in there's like a little filter section at the top where you can filter so you only see verified suppliers. I would recommend doing that. That way you're just guaranteed you find the best of the best, and you don't have to like spend all this extra time looking through vendors who don't sell the best quality product. You also, when you do find a vendor, you also want to take into consideration their MOQ. MOQ stands for minimum order quantity. So this is really helpful when we go back to our planning that we did and we planned out how many pieces we want and what our budget was. MOQ allows us to really put that into perspective, because some brands say, or some vendors say like, oh, you have to order at least 1,000 pieces, and that's not going to work if your budget is 300 and they're selling one piece of jewelry for $5. It's not going to work. So you also want to find vendors who have a lower minimum order quantity. I will say, if this is your first time ordering from a brand or whatever, or a vendor, sometimes they will actually give you a deal or a discount because it's your first time and they want to build a relationship and they want to, you know, have you as their client. But it doesn't work all the time, but you can definitely try. Maybe their MOQ is 20 and you only need 15 or 10. You can try to bargain with them. It does work sometimes. The next thing you want to look for when it comes to the vendor you chose is the description. So this is specific for like jewelry, because, you know, the title might say, oh, it's stainless steel, or oh, it's, you know, real gold, but then you go down to the description, and in the description it actually tells you what the material is, and it could say alloy, it could say nickel. So majority of the times a lot of these vendors will write like stainless steel in the caption or like the title, but then the actual product isn't made of that. So you want to make sure you're scrolling down and really reading what the material is, and then also tells you what the shipping time is. So by scrolling down, you'll be able to kind of factor, okay, well, I need to order at this date in order to get it at this time. So it's really helpful looking down at all the information. You also want to look at reviews, because reviews really help you determine whether it's a good product or not. You know, sometimes some vendors are new, or like they just don't have reviews on a certain product. Look at the reviews on the actual store. You can go on the actual store, and there should be a reviews page on it, on the front page. If you scroll down, definitely look at reviews and see if the reviews are true to the product description. Next thing I will say when it comes to finding a vendor is communicate. So when you find your vendor, let's say you find a vendor and you're like, hey, perfect. I personally talk to them all within the actual app. I don't really talk to them on like WhatsApp. I just like everything to be in one place, and like I feel like WhatsApp I use for like my family. Like my family, like they like to talk on WhatsApp, and me, I'm like, I don't want to mix it. So I usually just talk on the app, and when I'm on the app, you want to stay very professional. You know, you can introduce yourself, and you want to also like send an inquiry. Just say, hey, I was interested in these products. I was wondering, you know, what the material was, and you know, how fast it ships. Please let me know, and if I could get a quote, that would be great. That's typically what you want to do when you are talking to a vendor. If you are still a bit like weary about the material or like how the items look, I will suggest asking these vendors for images, because a lot of these vendors, you know, don't actually have the products like physically with them. They're almost like a third party app buying from another place and then selling it and then, you know, making profit. So I would definitely say get pictures from them, ask them for even videos if they can, or like even videos of them making the product. That way, if it's not to your liking, like I've had times where like products were not to my liking, it just didn't look like the picture, it was too big, and I asked for images that they could show me, and I could see the images, and sometimes I'll just be like, absolutely not, like I don't like it at all, it doesn't look anything like the photo. And so far I haven't had any issues, and they'll just be like, okay, no worries, we'll just go ahead and switch it, or you could choose a different product, yada yada yada. So it's definitely good to keep good communication. When it comes to jewelry, a lot of the times there's like engravings and stuff on them, or you want like your logo engraved, you want a little logo, like a logo tag on your necklace, or like on the inside of a ring. So in the chat you can just ask them, hey, how much would engraving cost? And this is another thing you also want to plan out. Sorry I didn't mention it before, but you typically have to pay to get your items engraved unless it's included in like the product. But if you want your brand name lasered or engraved on the piece, you're gonna have to pay, I don't know, a couple cents more, like $1 more on each product. I don't know specifically how much it is, but you're going to have to pay something. So you want to definitely include that into your budget. So a lot of these vendors will customize it for you, so you really don't have to be shy when it comes to that. Just ask them if they can do it. If not, you could just go to a different vendor. And I will say, when it comes to vendors, talk to multiple at the same time. I find when I do, I can kind of see what the best price is, and sometimes maybe I want to go with vendor A but vendor B has a lower price. I've actually done this before. I went to vendor A and I said, well, the price is too high. Vendor B is offering the exact same product for way less. What can you do about it? And this vendor A actually was able to match the price because they wanted the sale, and I've purchased from them for a while. Just the cost margins were just way too much at this point, and they were actually able to match it. So definitely bargain. Don't be afraid to bargain, but still be polite, still be professional when it comes to that. But that is essentially how you find vendors for your jewelry brand. And I hope that this information really helps you guys when it comes to starting, because I know starting is literally the hardest part. If you guys are looking for information on where to find packaging vendors, I will link the video up top and down below, and it's pretty much the same process. You can use the same platforms and find vendors for packaging your jewelry, and it's pretty simple. It just takes a lot of trial and error. This is why a lot of small businesses don't want to give you their vendors, and I had a lot of people asking me who my vendor is, where do I get my products. People don't realize it takes a lot of time to really go through and test things, because it's a lot of trial and error. Like, I've had, you know, pieces in the past that said they were stainless steel, but then they just turn green, or like they break as soon as you pull it. So it's just a lot of work, and the vendors that I have now I love, and we have a really good relationship. So definitely, you know, take samples when you can and read descriptions and make sure you're educating yourself. So that's why I'm saying research is really important. So like, even by you watching this video, that's doing research, because now you have the resources and the tools to actually do what you want. So yeah, I'm just gonna end the video off here, and I hope you guys have an amazing time finding vendors and, you know, really making your dreams a reality, because this is what we're doing this for, you know, to break those generational curses, to make those 6 figures, to help our families out. And I'm just so happy I could help you guys along that journey. So I will see you guys in the next video. Until next time, bye guys.